Dear me, people, in all actuality, if you have a recollection, if you're old enough, normalcy is not the norm since a while. I would say since 2019, since that freaking pandemic. Now I can say pandemic without being censored. You guys recall very well, vividly, that when it was that time, when you mentioned the virus or COVID or any kind of triggering word, you'd have automatically a warning on your stories. We were checked, we were definitely monitored and censored greatly. I can vouch for that. I can attest to that. I was censored left, right, and center. I lost more than 600,000 follower page on Facebook because of this nonsense. And now they excuse themselves and say, well, we are sorry, we were wrong to censor you. So now I can talk about it. Really? It's about time. Allow me to. And so all the social media outlets, YouTube, Meta, and freaking Twitter, what have you, were definitely following the line of the previous government, Biden and freaking Fauci, right? Who were censoring everybody. You cannot talk about it or have any kind of, you cannot be a naysayer versus the narrative. I was censored senseless, not because of that, but because of everything. Everything that was woke, it was too much. Remember the wokeness? I mean, even until today, we cannot go to the movies because the movies that are still rolling out were made about 2 years ago. That's how it works. Hollywood, for it to produce a movie, is already 2 years in the making. So all the scenarios, all the freaking stories are full of wokeness, DEI, and freaking ESG and whatever triggering things that you know what I'm talking about. So I contend, as a foreigner, as a non-American, but I'm very close, I'm Canadian. I live 1 hour from the border, so I'm very close to you, I'm your neighbor. I contend rather strongly that during the Biden administration, the pendulum went too far, went too left. They overdid it, tried to avenge somehow, looking for a revenge, right? Being vengeful and spiteful against the 4 years of Trump, previous years, that they thought it was too conservative and they went too much. So they went overboard. They opened the freaking borders. They allowed illegal immigrants and they harbored them and they gave them payments, subsidies, baby please, the whole 9 yards. And there was freaking DEI everywhere. DEI is anti-meritocracy. So they're anti-merit, right? They hire you because of something. And well, must I remind you, before some of you new guys get triggered, I myself, I'm an immigrant. I was not even born in Canada. I'm technically a minority. I have a different religion, different ethnicity. This is not my first language. If I speak it, you will not comprehend a thing. إن تكلمت باللغة العربية سوف لن تفقه شيئا. That's my native language. You see, but I don't want to be judged or measured as being a minority and given some privileges of freaking diversity, inclusion, and equity. I don't like DEI. So they went too much. I'm a conservative person. I spoke against that repeatedly and get censored. I got censored senseless. I paid a lot. I lost my YouTube channel, which was very efficient, and I also lost a huge Facebook page because of that, right? Because they were deeming that, they thought I was like a conservative, redneck American. And so, in my opinion, with all due respect, I contend it was an extreme, right? But now, where are we? Must we see what's going on? Because obviously we have a new administration. Trump is back. And good Lord, is he back? Seriously, he's back for real. Now, must we not also ask if what they're doing right now is not to avenge, I mean, maybe trying to correct the damage that was done by the freaking Biden and Harris administration, which they messed up the DEI and the gender things and whatever. But now, aren't we going to another direction, to another extreme? Like the pendulum, instead of being straight in the center, is going far to the right. Too much. And allow me to expand on that, shall we? For instance, let us forget about the DEI and ESG, which stands for environment, social, and governance, which is promoted big time by BlackRock and freaking Vanguard and City Streets and what have you. But the fact that Donald Trump and his administration, namely his Vice President J.D. Vance, really want to take over Greenland, which is a big chunk of land right above us, right here in Canada, and they're pretending doing that to help the people of Greenland, who are merely 55,000 people. They're not that much. They have only one. It's not even a city. It's a freaking village, and they live at the southern tipping point. Nobody is menacing them. Nobody is threatening them. In all actuality, you and I know that. And so, in essence, clearly, unless you are, with all due respect, you have a low IQ, we all comprehend that there are other reasons behind it. There's a proper takeover for the resources. It is filled with resources. I mean, the amount of water is just biblical, but also minerals, critical minerals and earths available there. It is untapped and also pretty much uncharted territory, the biggest unexplored territory in the northern hemisphere. It is Greenland. But the way that they're doing it is forceful. Can you just imagine? Is this like real life against Denmark? Denmark is not a foe. It's a proper ally. A NATO ally. It's a Western country, fully white, one of the whitest countries. It's Scandinavia. It's the origin of the Vikings. It is the ancestor of the Western white people. And so, must I remind you, let's go back, let's open a lens of anthropology. As I was saying, Vikings, they come originally from Scandinavia, namely Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. And these are the origins of every German tribe. So if you are German, your ancestors are Vikings from that land, right? If you are Anglo-Saxons, meaning English, they come from there, because Saxony is a German province, and these are Vikings too. If you're an American, like J.D. Vance, you are from there. Donald Trump, his grandfather is German. So these are Germanic tribes. They all stem from one nation, the Vikings of old. So you're attacking your ancestry. This is not like a third world country. This is Denmark, for Lord's sake. And it's a proper takeover. It's like, I'm going to take it because I can, straight up. Well, for context, my country, Algeria, was colonized by France for 132 years. And that triggered several wars. We had several revolutions against the French. Not only one war, it never stopped. Like every decade was a revolt by our people. And the French killed more than half of our population. It was gruesome. But this was the 19th century. France was colonizing the whole world, and so was Britain, right? The German did that, Italy did that in Libya and also in Somalia. So the Europeans were doing that. They know a thing or two about it. Spain did it, good Lord, everywhere, Southern America and other places. And right now we are in the 21st century. And these mentalities are coming back to surface. This is more than science fiction, if you ask me. And so, are we living in a freaking alternate reality of some sort? For God's sake. If you've said this merely 3 months ago, it would have been, no, man, this is impossible. What the hell are you talking about? Do you think we're living in the far west? Must I remind you that most of the states, all of the states of the Western USA were taken by force, commencing by Texas. Texas was Mexican. But then they sent few white settlers there, just only a few white settlers. And then they did pretend that these white settlers were basically were being attacked. So they sent the army supposedly to protect the white settlers, which were illegally occupying a Mexican territory, to protect them. But they took the whole territory and the Los Alamos and the whole nine thing. And then they spread their conquest towards the west, all the states. So yeah, must I remind you that although Western states, which still have until today some Spanish names, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, California, right? All these were inhabited by Mexicans. They belong to Mexico, right? And they took it by force. But hey, again, this was the way of old. He who has the might is always right. To the victor goes all the spoil. But nowadays, you are a democracy. Yeah, there's the Congress, there's the freaking Senate. And these are not foes. These are friends. It's not like Ukraine is being taken over partially by Russia after a freaking war. This is, I'm going to take you because I can. This applies to Greenland, Canada, Panama, for starters. I'm not even mentioning Gaza. Frankly, thinking about it, all by myself, I'm dumbfounded. This is really, really mind-boggling, to say the least. Which prompts to, now it's an open bar. China can take Taiwan. Taiwan is literally protected by the US. But now the current administration said, no, well, Taiwan took all our industry. They produce the best chips in the world. And they have an exclusive contract with the USA. So all the advanced chips, which are the best in the world, are being shipped from Taiwan, as an example, to the US because it's protected by them. But now it's no longer protected. So it's an open bar. Same goes with the Philippines. Philippines had some sort of an ironclad. By the way, do you know that the Philippines it was colonized by Spain and was taken by force by the USA? Do you know that? Yeah, of course you know. And so, we all know that Greenland, as an example, it is straight in the North Pole. Well, the farthest north of it is melting. Because, most of people supposedly do not believe in global warming, but reality does not care about your fifis. Reality cares about facts. And the fact of the matter is, it is melted. Opening a new route, right, which is very, very efficient, very close, right? I mean, it's very, very fast nowadays to traverse from the north, the Detroit of Bering as an example, as opposed to going through the Panama Canal or going through whole, basically, Africa to try to bypass it. So at the end of the day, you and I all know that it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the money. Yep, money. And there's a lot of money to be had, to be made, right? Good Lord. So what say you people? Send me some DMs. Give me your opinions, right? We're entering new territory, uncharted one at that. Quite special times to be alive. We're not even deep in this administration. So give me your unbiased opinion, be you American or non-American. Share with me your opinion. I'll read all of them. We'll see how it goes, right? Must I remind you that I'm Canadian, and Canada was still in the plans to be taken over by the USA. They want to take us over as the 51st state.